My name is Claire Bennett, and 3 hours before I was supposed to walk down the aisle, my sister destroyed my wedding dress with a glass of red wine and smiled while doing it. Everyone in the bridal suite froze when the stain spread across the white silk like blood. But Olivia just stood there holding the empty glass, pretending it was an accident. The worst part? Nobody believed me when I said it wasn't. My mother rushed to Olivia first. "Oh my God, honey, are you okay?" she asked, as if my sister was the victim. Olivia's lip trembled perfectly on cue. "I slipped," she whispered. Claire knows I'd never ruin her wedding. But I knew better. Because Olivia had been ruining my life for 28 years. The wedding planner tried to save the dress while my bridesmaids panicked around me, but I wasn't even looking at the stain anymore. I was looking at my sister's face. Calm. Satisfied. Like she'd finally won something she'd been chasing for years. And maybe she thought she had. What nobody in that room knew was that 2 nights earlier, an anonymous email had landed in my inbox. No subject line. No message. Just a video attachment. A video of Olivia. A very dangerous video. At first, I thought it was fake. I actually defended her. Even after everything she'd done to me growing up, I still couldn't believe my own sister would sink that low. But then I watched the entire thing. Twice. And by the time the rehearsal dinner ended the night before my wedding, I had already made a decision. If Olivia wanted to humiliate me in front of everyone I loved, then I would let the truth humiliate her first. The ruined dress was only the beginning. Because hidden inside my wedding slideshow, between childhood photos and engagement pictures, was a 3-minute video that was about to silence an entire ballroom. And Olivia had no idea it was coming. The morning of my wedding started with silence. Not the peaceful kind. The kind that presses against your chest and makes you feel like something bad is waiting around the corner. I should have known then that Ava was planning something. My sister had been acting strange for weeks. Too nice. Too helpful. Offering to handle decorations, calling vendors behind my back, insisting she wanted my day to be perfect. That word alone should have terrified me. By noon, the bridal suite was packed with makeup artists, champagne glasses, and nervous laughter. My best friend Nina was fixing my veil while I stared at myself in the mirror trying to calm my shaking hands. I was finally getting married to Ethan after 6 years together. After everything we'd survived. This day mattered to me more than anyone knew. Then the door opened. Ava walked in wearing a white dress. Not cream. Not silver. White. Every conversation in the room stopped instantly. My mother awkwardly laughed like it was some harmless misunderstanding, but my stomach dropped the second I saw Ava smile. That smile wasn't innocent. It was calculated. "You look upset," she said softly while setting down her purse. "It's just a color." Nina stepped forward immediately. "You can't wear white to someone else's wedding." Ava shrugged. "Why?" "Claire doesn't own the color." "Claire." "Not even my sister. Just Claire." I tried to stay calm. I really did. I told myself not to let her ruin the day before it even started. But then she walked closer and leaned beside me at the mirror. "You know," she whispered, "Ethan almost didn't marry you." My chest tightened. "What?" She smiled at my reflection. "Nothing. Forget it." Then she walked away like she hadn't just set my entire world on fire. For the next hour, I couldn't breathe properly. Every time I looked at Ethan during photos, I kept hearing her voice in my head. "Ethan almost didn't marry you." I started wondering if there was something I didn't know. Something she was trying to hint at. And that was exactly what Ava wanted. To destroy me emotionally before I even walked down the aisle. But what my sister didn't know was that 3 nights earlier, someone had anonymously sent me a video file. And I still hadn't decided what to do with it. I should have known Olivia wasn't done. The moment she stood there crying in Ethan's arms while our guests whispered around us, I realized this wasn't just about ruining my wedding anymore. She wanted to destroy me completely. And for a few terrifying minutes, it almost worked. Ethan turned toward me slowly, confusion written all over his face. "Claire, what is she talking about?" His voice sounded distant, colder than before. Around us, the ballroom had fallen silent except for Olivia's fake, shaky sobs. I stared at my sister in disbelief. "You're lying." She covered her mouth dramatically. "I didn't want to say anything today. I swear I didn't. But you forced me into a corner." Tears streamed down her cheeks so perfectly it looked rehearsed. "Tell them why Mom stopped talking to you for 6 months. Tell them what happened in Miami." My stomach dropped. Miami. She was bringing up something from 4 years ago. Something twisted so badly by her version of events that even I started questioning my own memory sometimes. Ethan looked at me again. "Claire, what happened?" Every eye in the room burned into me. My bridesmaids looked uncomfortable. My aunt whispered something to her husband. Even the DJ had stopped the music completely. Olivia stepped forward like she was the victim in all this. She slept with my ex-boyfriend while we were still together. Gasps exploded around the ballroom instantly. And when I confronted her, she told me I deserved it because I was always the favorite. That's not true. My voice cracked so loudly it echoed through the speakers. But Olivia just shook her head sadly, like she pitied me. "You've always hated me, Claire. Even today, you couldn't stand seeing me happy." Happy? She had destroyed my ceremony less than 20 minutes ago. I felt my chest tightening as memories crashed through my mind. The truth was completely different. Olivia's ex-boyfriend had kissed me while drunk at a beach party, and I pushed him away immediately. Olivia knew that. She knew I told her the truth the next morning. But she also knew the family believed her version because she'd repeated it for years. And suddenly I understood. This wasn't random. She had planned every second of this. The crying. The accusations. The timing. She came here prepared to bury me in front of everyone I loved. My hands shook as I looked across the ballroom toward the wedding coordinator's table near the back wall. And that's when I remembered something important. Something Olivia had no idea I still had. My phone buzzed quietly in my bridal purse. A notification. The video file had finally finished uploading. And in that exact moment, for the first time all night, I smiled. I stood frozen near the wedding cake while whispers spread across the ballroom like wildfire. My hands were trembling so badly I nearly dropped the champagne glass I wasn't even drinking from. Across the room, my sister Olivia stood beside Ethan with fake tears running down her cheeks, acting like she was the victim after destroying the happiest day of my life. Guests were staring at me with confusion, suspicion, pity. Exactly what she wanted. And for a moment, I almost let her win. Then my phone buzzed inside my clutch. One message. "Marcus, you should see this. Now." I frowned and opened the file he had just sent me. The moment the video started playing, my entire body went cold. Olivia's voice filled the screen. "I swear if Sophie actually marries Ethan before me, I'll lose my mind. She doesn't deserve this wedding. She doesn't deserve him." The video was dated 3 weeks earlier. I watched silently as Olivia sat inside a restaurant with her friend Amanda, laughing while sipping wine. Then came the part that made my stomach drop. "I already sent Ethan those fake screenshots," Olivia smirked. "Once he thinks Sophie cheated during her bachelorette trip, everything will fall apart. Men are so easy to manipulate." Amanda laughed loudly. "And if he still marries her?" Olivia leaned closer with a cold smile I had never seen before. "Then I'll ruin the wedding itself. One way or another, today will never belong to her." The video ended. My breathing stopped. Marcus had recorded everything accidentally while meeting clients at the same restaurant. He had recognized Olivia sitting behind him and started recording when he heard my name. And now, I had proof. Not assumptions. Not excuses. Proof. At that exact moment, Olivia grabbed Ethan's arm dramatically across the ballroom. "I'm just trying to protect you," she cried loudly. "Sophie's hiding things from you." Several guests nodded awkwardly while others avoided eye contact. My own mother stood beside Olivia, rubbing her shoulder like she was the wounded daughter. That hurt more than anything. But then something inside me finally snapped. Not sadness. Not heartbreak. Clarity. I slowly walked toward the DJ booth while the entire room watched me in silence. Olivia noticed immediately. Her expression changed. "Sophie, what are you doing?" I didn't answer. I handed the DJ my phone. "Please connect this to the projector." The ballroom instantly became quiet. Pin drop. The ballroom had gone so quiet that I could hear the soft hum of the chandeliers above us. My sister Ava stood frozen near the stage, her makeup-perfect smile finally cracking for the first time all night. Around her, people whispered in confusion while the final frame of the video remained paused on the giant wedding screen behind us. Her face. Her voice. Her confession. There was no denying any of it anymore. My mother rushed toward me first. "Emily, turn this off right now," she hissed, her face pale with panic. "Do you understand what you're doing?" I looked at her calmly, almost too calmly. "Yes," I said. "For once in my life, I do." Ava suddenly grabbed the microphone from the DJ booth. "She edited that video," she shouted desperately. "She's jealous because Daniel always liked me more." The room erupted into whispers again. Daniel slowly turned toward Ava, his expression unreadable. "What did you just say?" Ava froze. For 3 years, she had flirted with my fiancé behind my back. Little comments. Late-night texts. Accidental touches during family dinners. Every time I noticed it, my parents told me I was insecure. Dramatic. Sensitive. But the video I had just played showed everything. Not just the flirting. The planning. The recording had been sent to me anonymously 2 weeks earlier from one of Ava's former friends. In it, Ava laughed while sitting at a restaurant with 2 women I didn't recognize. "She doesn't deserve him," Ava said while sipping wine. "Honestly, if I wanted Daniel, I could take him in one night." One of the women laughed. "Then why don't you?" Ava smirked directly at the camera. "Because ruining her slowly is more fun." The moment those words replayed in everyone's mind, the atmosphere shifted completely. Daniel stepped away from Ava like she carried poison. "You tried to destroy our relationship?" he asked quietly. Ava's eyes filled with panic. "Daniel, no," she manipulated this. "You sent me photos at midnight," he interrupted. "You told me Emily was emotionally unstable. You tried to convince me not to marry her." My father suddenly slammed his glass onto the table. "Enough," he barked. "This is still a wedding." "No," I said softly. It stopped being a wedding the moment my own sister tried to turn it into a game. My hands were shaking now, but not from fear anymore. Adrenaline. Relief. Years of silence finally breaking apart. Aunt Melissa slowly stood from her chair near the front row. "I knew something felt wrong," she whispered. Every family event somehow became about Ava. Several relatives nodded quietly. My mother looked around the room and realized something terrifying. For the first time, nobody was defending Ava anymore. Nobody. I stood there in front of everyone, holding the remote in my hand. The room that was filled with laughter just a few minutes ago was now completely silent. My sister was still smiling, but I could see her hands shaking. She knew something was wrong. She just didn't know what I had. I looked at her for a moment and said nothing. No shouting. No arguments. Just silence. That silence was heavier than any words I could have used. My parents were confused, trying to understand what was happening. My father whispered my name. But I didn't turn. Then I pressed play. The screen behind me flickered to life, and in that instant, everything changed. The video started slowly at first, unclear voices, background noise, but then her voice came through. My sister. Clear. Confident. Saying things she was never supposed to say out loud. Things she had sworn no one would ever hear. A few people gasped immediately. I heard someone drop a glass. My mother took a step back like she had been pushed. My father froze completely. And my sister, she stopped breathing for a second. The video continued. Every second was worse than the last. Lies, planning, manipulation. Words that destroyed every image they had of her. The perfect daughter. The innocent sister. It all broke in front of everyone. I didn't look at the crowd. I kept my eyes on her. Her face went pale. Then red. Then completely blank. She finally understood what this moment meant. There was no way to stop it now. No way to explain it. No way to lie her way out. People started whispering behind me. The wedding was gone. The celebration was gone. Everything had turned into something else entirely. I lowered the remote slowly and said one last thing. You chose to ruin my day. I just made sure everyone knew the truth. She took a step toward me, but stopped halfway. Because she knew, there was nothing left to say. And in that moment, everything she built collapsed. Silence.